Thank you for joining me today for our Connect University on roll-up and formula fields. Hands-on Connect Cloud Solutions is excited to be able to provide any and all of the digital solutions you need, whether it's our flagship volunteer engagement product, Hands-on Connect, additional insights and trainings with the other Connect University sessions, learning about additional tools through our Connect Exchange series, Salesforce implementations and configuration, custom-built applications, or our stellar support, including virtual administration. We've got you covered. As we like to remind guests in today's training, I am recording today's session for future viewing. I'm lucky to be part of a great team here at Hands-on Connect Cloud Solutions. Our mighty team consists of Alfredo, Esteban, Jenny, Libby, Melissa, Larry, Luis, and myself. I'm Art Ordoki, and I'm glad to be here with you today. Since this is a 20-minute presentation, I'll be touching on just a few of the great features available with roll-up and formula fields to get you started. So what are roll-up and formula fields? Formula fields are fields that can be added to your records, both standard and custom records, and can be used to calculate single items, such as combining totals within an object, creating links to external documents, or pulling information from a parent record into the child record. Roll-ups are a special type of field in Salesforce because they do require a master detail relationship between the two items. Once you have that master detail relationship, it allows you to summarize information around the related records. This can be a count of a number of related records, summing up values in those related records, or even being used to capture when the most recent or last or first item was created or updated. These are both really great tools, and there are trailheads for both of them to help you get started and learn a little bit further about these wonderful fields. First, we're going to dive into formula fields. In Hands-on Connect, the occurrence record shows you information about the upcoming volunteer opportunities, the specific shift and date. As you can see here on the screen, both of these opportunities require 8 volunteers. However, the importance of that varies. As you can see in the top occurrence, there is already 12 volunteers confirmed, whereas at the bottom there's only 2. So it really needs us to look at what is the percent filled of the project to really identify which of these 2 occurrences needs the greater attention for volunteer recruitment. And this is where a formula field can come in. With a formula field, we can create a field to show the percent filled, which would then give us the percentage that we can use in reports or views to help identify which volunteer opportunities and occurrences are at greatest risk of not having enough volunteers to carry out the project. So as you can see here, when we added the percent filled, even though both projects still needed 8 volunteers, the project on the right was already at 60%. So we had more than half of the volunteers we needed, whereas the occurrence on the left still needs a lot of volunteers in order to help accomplish. So this occurrence needs to be where we focus our attention. As you can see, you can also add these fields into a view and allows you to sort. So you can look at which projects that are coming up in the next 2 weeks are still at less than 50% capacity. And you can focus on those projects in your recruitment efforts. So let's take a moment and show you how I created this formula field. So I'm going to log into my Salesforce environment, and I'm going to go to Setup. From Setup, I'm going to go to Create Objects. And within the Objects field, I'm going to go to the Occurrence Record. I'm then going to click New, and I'm going to choose Formula Field. I'm going to provide the label. And then I'm going to choose the type. As you can see, you can create lots of different formulas. You can create formulas to check a box in your record. You can choose currency or date formulas. For this, I'm going to use a percent field, and I'm going to have it round up so that it's a solid number. I'm not as concerned about 19.75 versus 20%. I'm going to hit Next. And this is where I get to create the field itself. So Salesforce provides you a lot of tools, and there's a lot of advanced options and tricks that you can see both through Trailhead as well as other online resources through Salesforce Success. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the number of volunteers needed, so maximum attendance, that's how many volunteers I need. I need to put my parentheses here. And I'm going to subtract from that the number of volunteers still needed. And then I'm going to divide that by the maximum attendance. So this will tell me how many volunteers have signed up divided by the total number of volunteers, which will give me the percent filled. As a good administrator, I want to add a description here so that other staff members or future system administrators know why this field was added. Fix my typo there. And then I'm going to click Next. Now this page tells me who the field is available to. So I can choose the profiles that are in my system and grant folks that access. The ones that are already checked are the ones that are active in my system. You'll also notice that it's a read-only is checked for everyone. And that's because it's a formula field. So there isn't a way to edit. The only way to edit this field will be to update the fields that are related, such as the maximum attendance or the number of volunteers slots needed. I can then hit Next and can choose where to put it up, which page layouts to add it to. My personal preference is to not add it to page layouts because it always just puts it at the very top, and I usually like to place them in a more specific area. So because I've already created this field, I'm not going to hit Save, and instead we're just going to jump to the Occurrence Record. The great thing about these fields is that the minute I create a formula field, it automatically is populated. I don't have to add anything to the system. And so we can see here that the percent filled, I've added it to my occurrence summary statistics and shows as 80%. So by adding this field, it's automatically calculated for every occurrence in my system. If the number of volunteers needed changes, the information is automatically updated. So let's say I only need 15 volunteers now. This project will automatically show that this opportunity is overfilled at 107% because I have 16 people already signed up. So you can see that this is a very handy field, and it will always show in real time based on how volunteers have signed up in your system. As you saw in the presentation, I also created a view that shows me the projects that are coming up in the next 2 weeks that are at less than 50%. Because if they're already at 50%, I'm pretty comfortable with them moving forward. So this field can be added to any layouts, reports, and such to help you identify which folks are necessary. And if you need to adjust it, you could say, you know what, I'm not concerned as much for the next 2 weeks. I want to focus on the next 7 days, I can update this. And then you can use other tools to develop campaigns, as we've talked about in other Connect universities, to help focus your recruitment for those volunteer opportunities. Jumping back, I now want to share with you some information about roll-up fields. Roll-up fields, as I mentioned, are a very special field in Salesforce because they require a master detail relationship. So this is an example of some of the relationships that exist in Salesforce already. So the accounts or organizations has an ability to pull in opportunities. Opportunities are typically used by the Nonprofit Success Pack to capture donations. We also have contacts, and contacts can also be associated with donations or opportunities, and so they can roll up information there. One thing that you'll notice is that accounts and contacts actually do not have a master detail relationship. So there is not a way to roll up information from contacts to accounts unless you create a special field to manage that, to establish that master detail relationship. We then have volunteer opportunities and connections, which are volunteer opportunities and occurrences, which are part of the Hands-on Connect package, and the connection records, which captures the actual service. The connection record has a master detail relationship with both volunteer opportunities and occurrences, and so it allows you to create roll-up fields between those. When you go to create a field, and I'll show you this in a moment, you'll see that there's an option called roll-up summary. If the object you're looking at is not a master or a parent of another object, this option will be grayed out and you will not be able to create a master roll-up summary until you establish that master detail relationship. For this example, I created an opportunity field for the most recent connection. So if there's something you want to know, how fresh or how recent someone has signed up for this project, you can do that using a roll-up field from the connection to the occurrence object. You can do the same thing for a volunteer opportunity, to the volunteer opportunity object as well. And so to do that, you would go into the occurrence item in setup. So again, I'm going to do a shortcut since I clicked on since I'd recently been in the occurrence. And I'm going to click New Field. Because roll-up summary is available to me, I'm going to hit Next. And we're going to click here, Most Recent Connection. And again, good admins always put in a description. Fix my typo. Something about typing on live TV always gives me typos. So now I can go through and see what am I summarizing. So from the summarized object, I can look and see what are the related items. So occurrences only have a master detail with connection, so I'm going to choose connection. I can then have a few different options. I can count, which would give me a number of records associated. So if it's occurrences and connections, it's going to give me a count of how many connections are associated with that occurrence. If I do a sum, I can choose the field in the connection record to summarize. Many of these are already included in the Hands-on Connect package as roll-ups to show number of guest volunteers and guest hours. So I don't need to summarize any of these. Minimum and maximum, again, shows the number of hours and dates. I can use the created date to show me the date of the very first connection that was created for this occurrence. In this case, I want to show the most recent, so I'm going to choose maximum and choose created date. What this does is it looks at all the related connection records and pulls the one that's the most recent on date and time for created. Now, if I leave this at include all records in the calculation, it's going to show every single connection. But this may not be as helpful to me. So I actually want to say you know what? If the status of the connection is equal to declined, I don't want to include those. I don't want to see volunteers that have subsequently declined or removed themselves from the project. I want to look at the ones that have most recently signed up. And so I'm going to add a condition here that status not equal to declined. So therefore, it'll only pull up the connections that I'm most interested in. Again, I can go through and assign this field permission as visible to the profiles. And just like formula fields, rollups are read-only. They're based on the information on the related records. And as before, I am not going to add it to the page layout because I like to place them specifically as desired. So if I go to my occurrence record, I can see that the most recent connection was created on February 27th. And that was when Bob Parr signed up for this opportunity. Just like with formula fields, rollups are automatically calculated as soon as you created them for all the records in your system. And if I create a new connection, let's say Helen Parr is going to join Bob because they're an incredible family. And they're going to sign up. And I'm going to hit confirmed. It's coming up, so I'm going to wait to verify her hours. I'm going to hit save. And now when I go back to the occurrence record, most recent connection should be updated to today, which it is. If I then edit the connection to say that Helen has declined, she's not able to attend anymore, the rollup field automatically updates again to show the last connection that meets the criteria, since Helen no longer meets it. So there's an example of both a formula and a rollup field that can help you get more information out of your occurrences and other data in Salesforce. I hope you enjoyed today's Connect University and look forward to seeing you at our next session next Thursday at 12:30. We also encourage you to view our past Connect University sessions video recording on our website and YouTube channel. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you at a future Connect University session.